Let me go ahead and call the meeting to order. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Beaumont, the 72nd club founded in the world. Today our invocation will be brought to us by Mandy Clayton, Director of Development and Foundation at Lamar Institute of Technology. And the pledges will be led by Dee Lane, Sales, R&P Employer Solutions Incorporated. Mandy?
Please join me in prayer or in a moment of silence. Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts. Prosper us in our labor and grant that we may become true and loyal Rotarians, exemplifying the object of Rotary in our services to our communities and our families. We would also like to ask for a special blessing on all those who are recovering from the recent hurricanes and for all those battling illness. Amen.
Okay, would y'all join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the
United
flag
States of America and to the
to
republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands one
one
nation
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty
and
justice
justice for all.
All righty, and now would you join us in the Texas pledge? Oh. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas,
one state
under God, one
and indivisible. Thank you, Mandy and Dee. I also want to extend a special welcome today to past District Governor Gig Langston, who is attending our meeting today. Gig was a member of the Angelina Lufkin Rotary Club, where he served as president twice. He was District 5910 governor in 2016 and 2017. And he just moved to Beaumont from Lufkin and has already set the wheels in motion to transfer his Rotary Club membership to our club. So welcome to our meeting today, Gig. We're so glad to have you join us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you to all who helped him with his voter questions earlier. See, we just get things done in Rotary. Club business today, I have John Lee wants to say a few words. He's business advisor at Lamar University Small Business Development Center and our community service chair. John?
Well, some of y'all that hopped on earlier heard us, Brad talking about the project we did at Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And we've done 2 projects there now and built quite a few beds. But they have kind of a log jam of beds and need people to deliver. Obviously, this has not happened during the time of COVID, but we're getting to the point where they feel that it's safe to start up again. We need some team leaders. We're trying to get 5 team leaders that are willing to be trained. In the process of doing this, you have to download an app. There's certain pictures you have to take, certain procedures that you follow. And then each of those team leaders would ask for volunteers at different times when we would schedule to go out and deliver the beds. You would probably just do 2 or 3 deliveries on a Friday evening or a Saturday. We always do it during the daylight hours. So probably on Saturday during the winter time. And if you have a truck or you have an SUV, you can fit a couple of them in there. So anybody that's willing to be a team leader, so far it's myself and Cindy. So we could use 3 more people. We would like to form a more permanent relationship with the Sleep in Heavenly Peace project and be able to do this. So please contact me or send a message to Jackie. My email and stuff's on Club Runner, so you can contact me through there. And if we can get those people trained, then we only need 1 trained person to go with other volunteers, and 2 or 3 people go and make the deliveries. So you're talking about maybe once every 2 months or so that we would need you to do that. But anybody that's interested in doing that and feels that it is safe for them to do so, we don't want anybody to do anything they don't feel safe at. But we need to get these beds to the kids. That's the most important part. So please give me a call or give me an email and let me know if you're interested. Thank you.
Hey, John, what's the longest piece of lumber that you have on this bed?
I mean,
Is it less than 10 feet?
oh yeah. it would fit in the back of an SUV because the beds have to be put together. Maybe 8 feet on the side rails.
Yeah, I'm just saying with that trailer that we brought all that stuff over to Lake Charles, my trailer, that we could probably get with you when you get ready to deliver and put them inside that trailer and take them no matter what. I get my sidekick to help me, Gary, and we can deliver those beds for you.
We need somebody to volunteer because it's got to be, one person has to be trained every time we go out so that we're doing this correctly.
You get trained and I'll do the driving.
My understanding is the training is not all that long. And also from the people that deliver the beds, they've said that is one of the most rewarding experiences. It's just getting to spend. It doesn't take very long at all, 30, 45 minutes, and just getting to see the family and meet them and see how excited they are to actually have their own bed is a pretty neat experience. So if you want to join me and John in being team leaders, we'd love to have you. Now I want to introduce Lynn Hill. She is co-owner of Nuvation Tech and coordinator of the Rotary Chorus. Lynn?
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Coming before you again to solicit volunteers for our holiday Rotary Chorus. This year it's going to be virtual. It's going to be similar to what it was for the installation of our Governor Becky Mason. The holiday chorus is going to consist of Rotarians, also friends, and also family. And we are also extending an invitation to other clubs in our district to join us for the holiday chorus this year. You will record yourself singing, so no fear, Dr. Hahn works magic, so if you sound like a chicken, you'll sound like Whitney Houston when it's all over. So we'll have specific instructions from him to do. I believe he's already picking out selections for us to do. So he'll work his magic and we'll have a beautiful presentation for our course. Jackie has sent out an email asking for volunteers that want to join the course, and you can also contact me through Club Runner. My information is correct. My cell phone or an email will do. So please respond so we can get started on our work for our course so we can have a beautiful presentation this year.
Thank you, Lynn. Now I'll want to, if everybody will go ahead and mute themselves, and before our speaker comes on, Deborah Drago, the Executive Director at Southeast Texas Nonprofit Development Center, is going to introduce Tom Neal. Deborah?
Thank you, Madam President. I am honored to introduce my friend and nonprofit colleague, Tom Neal. As a child, Tom would walk through the bits and pieces of Port Arthur history on display at the Merchants National Bank. Little could he know then the role he would play in the development and promotion of what would eventually become the Museum of the Gulf Coast. He became the director of the museum in 2016, bringing with him enthusiasm and a genuine love for the region. Tom started his career in radio, working for KPAC, AM and FM, but then shifted his focus to education when he became administrative assistant to the dean of the campus at what was then called Lamar University, Port Arthur. He spent nearly 40 years working for Lamar State College, Port Arthur, before retiring in 2015 as Vice President for Student Services. Tom is a lifelong resident of the area and longtime member and past president of the Port Arthur Rotary Club, which some of you will remember is my grandfather's club, or was my grandfather's club. He is a Paul Harris Fellow +1 and multiple Rotary Club of Port Arthur Mac Pond Fellow. He's an active civic leader serving on many committees and boards, and as you will experience, an avid proponent of Southeast Texas. I'm anxious for you to experience Southeast Texas through the eclectic perspective the museum has to offer. Thank you for joining us, Tom.
Thank you for having me. And I want to add one more thing. I'm a Ben Rogers Community Service Leader. I saw Regina was signed on here a while ago, and I have the utmost respect for her family and all that she does throughout the community. Thank you for letting me be here. I'm going to switch over right quick to the, as smooth as we can make this, to the PowerPoint that I want to present to you today. And let's see here real quick. I do this correctly. And that should bring us into play here in a minute. Okay. All right. I think that looks a lot better. All right. I'm going to give you a little information before I begin, but I plan on giving you a virtual tour. Now, it looks like I'm at the Museum of the Gulf Coast today, but I'm not. We lost power up until yesterday. We do have power. We do not have any kind of data connection, so I had to stay at the house today to make this presentation before I go into work. And so, but I'm sharing a little view of the museum right over my shoulder so you get a little feel for things. Deborah, thank you so much, and Jackie Chapman for helping me pull all this together, all the technology. We'll go ahead and get started. One of the things that people did not always expect is that, you know, downtown Port Arthur, being a very safe place. I worked through Lamar Port Arthur for years, and there was a report I had to complete every year called the Clary Act. Every college and university had to present this, and it was basically a safety report you put on your website, and you had to show all these different FBI standards of things that you had to report across the country. And Bubba Blish was with the Port Arthur Police Department and helped me with that report because I know nothing of the FBI standards. But we turned in zeros every year, and I told him, save our reports, because if I were them, I'd audit me, because it's hard to believe. And he said, don't worry about it. He says, this is one of the safest places in the 3-county area. And that surprises people sometimes. Our facility is a 36,000 square foot facility, and it's COVID safe, so I'll add that. I've met a lot of people who have written articles about safe places to go during this time of crisis, and the museums are one of the safest places that someone can go during these times. I'll give you an example of a visitation cycle. This was back in February of 2019. I picked the day, the 26th. We had visitors from New Jersey, Kirbyville, Indiana, Austria, Fort Neches, Hastings, Nebraska, Logansport, Indiana, Nederland, Australia, Woodlands, Belgium, and France. And that's what people don't realize. But during our normal cycles, when we're not in the middle of a COVID experience, we have between 8 and 20 countries visit the museum monthly, 33 to 40 states. We're also very excited about the investment that Motiva has provided in our downtown area, and we look forward to the 700 new Motiva employees who will become our neighbors here shortly. The museum is celebrating its 26th year of operation, and year before last, we broke every record that the museum ever had through attendance and service back since we started in 1994. Last year, our 25th year, we broke the previous year's all-time attendance record on the heels of Imelda. And by the way, that year before, we were up against Harvey. So you kind of start noticing a pattern. Every year we're having something like this. Well, now in the year 2020, well, what can I say? I mean, I believe everyone has met their match with COVID, and then the 2 hurricanes we've had so far and a couple close calls. Don Rollins, one of our local songwriters, wrote a song for Alan Jackson and Jimmy Buffett that was a #1 song in all categories that year, called 5 O'Clock Somewhere. And of course, it references it's okay to go ahead and have a drink because there's a window of time somewhere that it's 5 o'clock. Last week, I saw a reference to that, the effect of you forget about the 5 o'clock somewhere standard. Instead, it's 2020 and it's okay to drink anytime. So that's kind of the world that we're up against. The museum offers a very positive impact impression for our kids and locals. In fact, we do it for the kids, and we know the adults are going to enjoy it. We want the kids to get the message, and you'll see what I mean later. And it overwhelms a lot of outside visitors when they see all the people with various talents and all that they have to offer. To be considered for induction, a person must have ties to the Gulf Coast Crescent, must be recognized nationally and internationally as having achieved the pinnacle of their various areas of professional talent or expertise, containing a body of work to support it. It goes on. And in fact, I'm in a process right now. Our board has approved another 19 people that I have to add to our halls of fame and who fit that narrow window of criteria. And there's not a lot of space to work with. So We're having to work that real hard to make this happen, but new people come up all the time that we're able to highlight. Our halls of fame are truly a focal point of pride for all of us in the Golden Triangle and along the Gulf Coast. From the Indian artifacts, the historic anchor, the water vessels, our amazing shell collection, the Snell Gallery, the various galleries of Rauschenberg, music, notable people in sports. Most important, we present educational messages based on the amazing stories that come from our collection and exhibits to our school kids through school bus tours and our own campus discovery trunks, which we present. And that message gives a tremendous message to our local schools, and it's for no charge. We have several Harris County buses who visit us all year long, and that makes a great impact on local tourism. We also have opened our doors to facilities rentals for a variety of events, including area high school reunions, corporate gatherings, as well as retreats and used for corporate training. The City of Port Arthur and Port Arthur Historical Society are the two partners who provide the base funding, while many gifts, donations, and grants make it possible for us to be able to do our job. Another great partner is the Port Arthur Convention Visitor Bureau and the hardworking team there. We have a small staff. We have an education tour coordinator, curator, and we have administrative assistant and shop coordinator. We have, gift shop coordinator and security. And we're a 501c3 nonprofit, as Deborah mentioned earlier. All donations are tax deductible. We are celebrating our 26th year of operation. Our efforts are directed toward membership, of course, like so many groups. All the different levels of support are very helpful and important to us. We appreciate also the help from Hancock Whitney Special Trust, the Hebert Foundation, Andy and Joyce Green for the help they gave us on our Texas Navy Maritime exhibit, Susan and Ron Arsenault, who are sponsoring our update and improvements for the Music Hall of Fame. And right now we're continuing to seek additional sponsors as we upgrade our exhibits in sports and for our regional community. With that, I'm going to go ahead and carry on to a message here. I'd like to introduce you to an exhibit that we've added called the Texas Navy exhibit. A lot of people don't realize that during the time of Santa Ana and Sam Houston, that we actually had a Texas Navy, and they were heavily involved in the success of the battle. They would interrupt the supply lines coming to Santa Ana while he was here fighting us. And so this story is being told through a kiosk system where you can go in and look at different timelines of our maritime industry. But if you focus in on the Texas Revolution and Navy, you'll see a screen that comes up here, and there you can punch into all these different areas: Alamo, our area, the Bay of Campeche, the last battle. Now that last battle took place 6 years after Santa Ana had signed off that he was done. He continued to fight us on water through the navies. And so you go through, you scroll through this, and you can punch into all these different pictures and pages, and you get all kinds of neat messages about what was going on. You see the message of Sam Houston, Santa Ana, who's trying to justify what he was doing. That letter from William Travis being read to you about calling all the world to come to his dispatch to help him at the Alamo. Kids learn nautical terms. They also learn about pirates and privateers. I think it was kind of a blur of which one you were. I guess it depended on who you were talking to. You represent yourself as one or the other. And then also you focus, of course, on the Battle of San Jacinto with Sam Houston and Santa Ana, and that historic photograph of Sam Houston, who was injured and laying under that tree there, and Santa Ana before him, and Deaf Smith off to the side of him. You get to understand the impact of that revolution. And that second Texas Navy was the bone of contention, especially between Houston and Lamar. Lamar actually had to go out and get a second Texas Navy to push back on Santa Ana and all the boats that he was throwing at us. Houston was bothered because he was worried that Lamar was going to get Santa Ana so riled that he would come back and try to battle Texas again. And he felt like he had really tricked him in being able to catch him there at San Jacinto when he wasn't looking, and he didn't want to have to do that again or try to find another way to beat him. So, great stories being told there, but it lets this three-dimensional thing come forward and then gives you all the little background behind it. Another area we've applied, this is our notable people gallery. We have all the three-dimensional pieces, but then when you go in, I've added a 55-inch screen. We program this ourselves, so we're able to update this on a regular basis, and it highlights various information about some of the people who are in our notable people gallery, and it gives you the background. And I'm going to share with you one right now, a guy who was Lucian Adams, a Congressional Medal Honor winner. And let's listen to how we make a little presentation in his area.
I was born and reared in Port Arthur, Texas. There were 12 in my family. There was 9 boys and 3 girls. Out of the 9 boys in my family, 8 of us went to the service during wartime. And we were all fortunate. We all returned. Thank God.
20-year-old Lucien Adams joined the Army in 1943 and was sent to fight in Italy with the 3rd Division of the 30th Infantry. On the Anzio beachhead, Staff Sergeant Adams knocked out an enemy machine gun position and enabled the company to advance, an action for which he would later receive a Bronze Star. But this was only a precursor to the remarkable heroism Adams would display in October of 1944 near Saint-Dié, France, where his company was attempting to open a supply line that had been cut off by the Germans.
My outfit was called to make an attack to liberate and to reestablish contact with 2 companies that had been cut off by the enemy. And my company commander selected me to make a patrol and see what was holding up. So I went and I saw 3 machine guns, on the roadside. I told him there was 3 machine guns set up there. And he says, you know what's up there. He said, you lead the company into the attack.
Staff Sergeant Adams and his men had progressed less than 10 yards when they came under heavy machine gun fire, which killed 3 of his men and wounded 6. The rest of his unit took cover, but Adams, armed with a Browning automatic rifle, made a fearless lone assault on the enemy. Despite the intense enemy fire, Adams got close enough to the first 2 machine gunners to kill them using hand grenades. He shot and killed 6 other Germans and forced 2 of their infantrymen to surrender. Finally, Adams killed the 3rd machine gunner with a burst of BAR fire. In just 10 minutes, Adams had single-handedly cleared the woods of hostile elements and reopened the severed supply line.
I was just a youngster then. I was going to be 22 years of age. And when you're young, you have no fears generally. I never had any fear. And you do things so automatically because of the training that you had in the States that you don't take time to think how serious, the predicaments you get into sometimes. That before you know it, you're in it to your head, and you just have to fight your way out. It was April 24th of 1945. There was 5 of us who received the Medal of Honor at the same time. It was presented to us by General Alexander Patch, the 5th Army commander in Europe, in the famous Zeppelin Stadium in Nuremberg, Germany, where Hitler used to make his famous speeches back in the late 30s. It was a stadium that had a big swastika in the background, and the engineers set it up where they draped the American flag over the swastika that you could see for miles and miles. But after we were decorated, the 5 of us was decorated, it wasn't 2 minutes that the engineers had exploded that swastika, and it just blew that swastika into pieces. And it was a big thrill, a big satisfaction. Look, a poor little infantryman here being decorated in Hitler's famous stadium.
Just there's more to that, but I think you get the message here. Just amazing to be able to see that outline. Lucian told me years ago that he Actually, his men did not hear him give the signal to charge. He thought they were behind him the whole time he was climbing up that hill. So you can imagine his surprise when he got to the top and found that he was by himself. The next person I want to go into is Evelyn Keyes, actress, Gone with the Wind. She was Sue Ellen, Scarlett's sister in that film. And here's a little bit of background on her.
Welcome back. My next guest has written a lovely memoir. This is their third one. It's called I'll Think About That Tomorrow. And it's filled with funny and touching behind the scenes.
We'll go on next and we'll see Kelly Asbury from Beaumont, Texas. We use this to introduce kids to the whole museum. They get to see somebody like this and understand just what it has to do.
My name is Kelly Asbury, and I'm a director here at Sony Pictures Animation. I was born in Beaumont, Texas. Beaumont, Texas was very much generally a working class sort of blue-collar town. No one had more than anyone else. When I was a teenager, if I wanted a car, or if any of my friends wanted a car, we got jobs, we saved up for it. It wasn't handed to us. My dad was
Just love the technical side of all of this. Kelly was interesting because he was the animator of Shrek and Romeo and Juliet, all these animated characters that the Toy Story, that all the kids relate to. So we always use him to highlight the fact that somebody that had reached that pinnacle of entertainment that they so much relate to and enjoy got his start here in the area. And I'm going, I think, hopefully going on the next person here is Robert Rauschenberg. We have a special exhibit set up just for Robert. And in fact, Robert had dinner with Janice the night before she passed away and told stories about that particular event, share with you another day. But Robert Rauschenberg was a father of pop art. And he was, in fact, just recently, one of his paintings sold at Christie's about 16 months ago at auction for $88 million. When he was alive, he was honored at the White House, and here's a little snippet of that time where they're honoring him.
Robert Rauschenberg is one of America's most innovative artists, whose remarkable works have been displayed in museums and galleries around the world, and who has really helped to transform our notions of contemporary art. Modern art is often inaccessible to a lot of people who don't go to art galleries and often don't understand it. I have personally been impressed by how many people I know who don't count themselves as connoisseurs, who have seen and been moved by the works of our next honoree, Robert Rauschenberg. He's also a pretty good comic. I said, it's great to see you here today. He said, oh, I'll show up for this anytime.
Moving along, we have the sports exhibit, which we're working on right now. It has not been upgraded, but this is the electronics that will go behind our new screens that we put in place. And you get a chance, of course, you know, this area loves the sports, football, and I'm going to show you just a little sample of some of the video we can show about some of our people. Little Joe is when he was in Oklahoma. Time Heisman Trophy nominated.
Running
I have Jamal.
8 years as a member of the San Francisco 49ers, now leading the Chiefs. Smith, dump off to Charles. Getting to the outside, Jamal Charles down the sideline. Nobody's going to catch him. Charles goes all the way. Touchdown, 49 yards. What a way to open up for KC.
Jamal Charles, his 4th touchdown reception of the year to go along with his 10 rushing touchdowns. Out in front, he gets a fine block by Rodney Hudson, the center. Does he stay in bounds? Apparently so. The official's right on the spot there, and Charles goes in untouched.
Season. 3rd and 19. High throw, snared by Charles. Charles after the catch. Jamal Charles is going to take it all the way. Touchdown, Kansas City. It's Charles.
Defensive coordinator bringing the blitz from this side. Watch Charles sneak out here on the screen, and there's just nobody there. Look at the catch with one hand, never did pull it in. And then down the field, Chad Hall does a nice job. Again, going in untouched. They ought to run that screen pass more.
Trying to add to their lead. Give it off to Charles, and he knifes his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. 3 touchdowns on the day for Jamal Charles. 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. And the Chiefs in a rout in this first half.
Anthony Sherman with a great block on Lamar Houston there.
Play action. Smith. Toss it to Charles. Jamal Charles. Monster day for Charles. Touchdown. Number 4.
Right outside here. Watch the blocking as he gets help from Jeff Allen and Stevenson. And again, untouched on a screen pass. So easy for Chiefs and Charles. Here in the half.
3rd and 1 for Kansas City. Smith. Take the run. The throw to Jamal Charles. And Charles now a foot race. Goodbye, Jamal Charles. What a day it's been for Charles. 71 yards on the catch and run. It's touchdown number 5.
You might call really good success for Jamal Charles.
Imagine 5 touchdowns in one game. Quite amazing. But you know, we also have some real colorful people on our coaches.
As did the life of beloved Houston Oilers head coach Bum Phillips.
The Oilers had come up with a brand new head coach that nobody ever heard of. A good old boy named Old.
As did the life of beloved Houston Oilers head coach Bum Phillips.
The Oilers had come up with a brand new head coach that nobody ever heard of. A good old boy named O.A. Bum Phillips.
Unlike the suit-clad coaches of his era, Bum was a Texas cowboy who remained true to his roots and his boots.
We might as well run it. Let's run the Bummerooski. Huh? Run the Bummerooski. Oh, come on, hellfire! Now, you can't do that. If you do it, I'm telling you, you're going to have more hell over it in a little bit.
They say the harder we played, the behinder we got.
Can I tell you one thing? That's 3 holding penalties on 1 football team in a quarter and a half. That ain't funny.
Yeah, that was Bum Phillips, the way he carried on. We have so many other different areas, and even after adding more categories, we have horse jockeys and horse trainers and champion bareback riders, and so we're adding a lot of other things. Another exhibit we're going to be bringing on. We had a special exhibit we put on at the museum about 1.5 years ago called Betting, Booze, and Brothels. It was about the early days of the James Commission, whenever in the early 1960, they brought the Texas Rangers in to help us get rid of all of our betting, booze, and brothels, even if we didn't want it. There are a lot of oral accounts of what took place back at that time, and we're going to expand that so people can be able to come by and see that anytime through a special kiosk presentation. I think it's really interesting too that when we held the exhibit, we had a lot of people come from the area, and we thought it was because of their interest in the James Commission, but we found out later some of them were afraid that some of their family members might be in our exhibit. They wanted to come and check and make sure they didn't have any family members tied up in our exhibit. Next, going on to the music legend. This is going to be opening very shortly as soon as the COVID is over with. We have expanded this where we're able to introduce people to music they do not know, and those who know these artists get a chance to kind of refresh their memory. There's Janice, and there's Edgar, and Johnny Winter, and ZZ Top. A lot of these great people here. Here's a few snippets of some of those folks performing for you. A little short.
Some came along, honey grabbed a hold of it, and it fell like a ball and chain. She knows how to choose it. She got a chance. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's do your left now, let's do your right.
Chantilly lace and a pretty face and a ponytail hanging down.
Bells will be ringing the glad, glad news. I'm a lonely boy. I ain't got a home. I ain't got a mate. I ain't got a son. I ain't got a daughter. I ain't got a wife. I'm a lonely dreamer. I ain't got a home. I'm leaving it all up to you. You decide what you gonna do. Now do you want my love, or are we through? Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? He stopped loving her today. Judy in the sky, look what you're aiming for. A second of a holiday, well that's what you are. You made me a laugh about you. I guess I'll just take your glasses. Long distance information, give me Memphis, Tennessee. Help me find a party that tried to get in touch with me. She could not leave a number, but I know who place to call. Cause my uncle took the message and he wrote it on the wall. She saw my silver spurs and said, let's pass the time, and I will give to you summer wine. Oh, summer wine. Since I met you, baby, my whole life has changed. Made
the alligators look tame. Poke salad, Annie. Poke salad, Annie. Everybody said it was a shame, 'cause her mama was a wicked on a chain gang.
Meet you all the way. Meet you all the way. Rosanna, yeah. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never
Breaking up is hard to do. Thank you. Breaking up is sad and blue. Making up is the thing to do. Don't you know what I see is true?
And that's all I have for you. I took a little bit more time than I planned to, but I hope I'm giving it back to you with plenty of time to work with. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tom. We have time for a few questions if anybody has one for Tom. It looks like you could spend a whole week at the museum. You have so many things there that you can interact with.
Surprisingly, yes.
I would say that's probably a good deal for whatever admission fee you charge. You can really get your money's worth.
Very reasonable. People come and they go to, they come there and say they've never seen anything like it. And I now understand what they're talking about. Usually you go to a Rauschenberg museum, you walk in, you see Rauschenberg, you walk out, or a train museum. In our case, you walk in to see something that interests you, like Janice or Jimmy Johnson or somebody, and they find all these other subject matters, and they actually say, we could spend a couple of days in here, and there's a lot of material there.
Hey, Tom, this is Tim Sedella. Do you have like a selection committee that decides who will be admitted into the museum?
We do. What we have is a criteria that we publish on our website, and I was highlighting some of those points to you earlier. And then once all the criteria is examined, it has to be put before the Port Arthur Historical Society board, and they have to approve it.
Well, that was fascinating, Tom. Thank you for sharing your time with us today and some highlights of the museum. And it's something we need to, especially during COVID, when you've got it where we can go in there and have some space and some time to look around. It'd be a good thing to put on our bucket list.
We're open now Monday through Saturday, have been open since the 1st of May. Monday through Saturdays, 9 to 5. We'd love to accommodate anyone who'd like to come see us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mondays through Saturdays, 9 to 5. In your honor, we want to make a donation to the Rotary International Foundation and in the area of economic and community development. Rotary supports investments in people to create measurable and enduring economic improvement in their lives and communities. And so thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Our speaker next week is going to be the Most Reverend David L. Toops, the newly installed Bishop of the Diocese of Beaumont. Please join us for the meeting to welcome this community-wide leader to our city. Thank you all again for attending the meeting today. And if you found yourself singing along during all that music that Tom played us, it'd be a good time to call Lynn Hill and sign up for the Rotary Chorus. She said herself, you can sound like a frog, but Dr. Hahn can make you sound like Whitney Houston. So let's put this to the test. And let's end with the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second, is it fair to
Fair to
all
all
concerned?
concerned.
Third, will it build goodwill and better
Better
friendships?
friendships.
And fourth, will it be beneficial
Beneficial
to
to
all
all
concerned?
concerned.
Have a good week. Go out and find opportunities to lead and to serve.
Bye, everybody. Very much. Come see us.
Thank you for the great presentation. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
You too, Mandy. Thanks, Tom. Enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Enjoyed being with you.